Ne? Now, we ended off yesterday where you said pattern matching which is preferred in South Africa is more of a qualitative nature than of a quantitative nature, not so? Now, thank you. Is there any specific reason why Ballistic South Africa prefers to use pattern matching than CMS?
CMS has set criteria, and pattern matching, if there's a good pattern and it is identifiable and it is carried over, it's not relying on a specific amount as set in the criteria of CMS. We look at more than just the amount, we look at the quality of the individual arms.
Ukuthi kungani South Africa iyona ikhethe ukuthi isebenzisele uhlelo obizwa ngokuthi pattern matching ukuthi ke kuyona ke uyabheka ke nezingane noma ke uphakathi ke kodwa awubheki ukuthi ukangakanani nanjengoba ku CMS ulindele.
Thank you. Now let's clear this before we proceed further. From what I gather from you is that it's a policy or it's a directive within the ballistic laboratory that South Africa should use pattern matching instead of CMS, not so?
My Lord, yes, as set up by FT, we use the theory of identification.
Nanjengoba ke kubekiwe ke yona ke FT yona ke leyo indlela ekufanele siyisebenzise yona le pattern matching.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, have you ever used CMS as a method of analyzing ballistic exhibits?
My Lord, as the two are not mutually exclusive, even though we don't use it, we don't rely on CMS. We rely on the significance and the quality of the pattern. If there's more than one pattern, but the point is we use the quality of the pattern. The two cannot be mutually exclusive.
Lezimbili ke awukwazi ke ukuthi ke noma ke singakodwa ngoba ke thina esibhekayo sibheka ke ukuthi ke uka ngakanani noma ke iquality noma izinake naloko esikuthola kunokuthi sibheke ke ukuthi ke inamba yakhona lokho kubizwa ngokuthi ke quantity.
I just don't rely on CMS to make the set identification.
Asiyona ke into mina enginika kuyona ke ukuthi ke ngifinyelele kwisinqumo.
Thank you, ma'am. That I understand, but my question is: have you ever used CMS as a method of analysis?
No, my Lord, not individually. No.
Mina ke ngokwami nje angaze ngiyisebenzise yona ke iCMS.
Thank you. Just a second. My apologies, my lord. I came here rushing. Thank you, ma'am. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena told you that this analysis that you did was in relation to a Senzo Meyiwa case. That's what you told this case, not so?
That's correct, my Lord.
Yabo kuyiqiniso ngishilo ukuthi wangitshela uma ngimbuza ke uLieutenant Colonel Mangena ukuthi ke iliphi lecala wathi lika Senzo Meyiwa.
But why did you ask him about that information?
My Lord, when I confirm or give an opinion or anything on the microscope, it's normal to just ask, what is this case related to? It was just for interest sake.
Injwayelo nje noma ke kujwayelekile ukuthi uma ngimnikeza uvo ngizobuza ukuthi icala elingani leli ukwazi ukufuna nje ukwazi.
Is there any other information which could be of interest to this court, which you yourself and Lieutenant Colonel Mangena discussed around this case, which you would love to share with us?
No, my lord.
Thank you.
Akukho kunye engingakhuluma-ke mayelana nalokho, ngabuza nje lokho, akukho.
Now, Lieutenant Colonel Mangane fired 8 test bullets to assist himself in the analysis of this exhibit. Did he tell you about that?
I heard about it later on, my lord.
Ukhona Mangena wase khumisa-ke isibhamu amahlandla awu-8 noma-ke lama-bullets awatesta awu-8 ngaba wakutshela yini ngalokho? Ngakuzwa lokho kamuva.
When later?
Later when we were discussing things in the office.
Kamuva-ke uma sasesixoxa-ke manje ngezinto-ke ehhovisi.
And did he tell you the reason why he had to fire 8 bullets? Test bullets?
To the best of my understanding, my lord, it is because he did not know the manufacturer of the specific bullet. Therefore, he fired several tests from different manufacturers in order to get the best possible same material.
Ngikwazi kwami-ke noma ukukhumbula kwami-ke isizathu sokuthi-ke khumiseke isibhamu lawo mahlandla 8 noma asebenziseke lawo ma-bullets ama-test bullets awu-8 kungoba wayengazi-ke ukuthi leyo bullet leyo-ke iluphi uhlobo noma eyenziwe kuphi-ke kwangaba fanele ukuthi adubuleke ahlukahlukene azothola ukuthi yiphi noma yini mhlawumbe yenziwe kuphi.
Now, when you say to the best of your knowledge, is that out of your own knowledge or is that something that you got from him?
I got it from him, my lord.
Into leyo engayizwa kuyena noma engayithola kuyena.
Thank you. Now, he only told you that he had to fire 8 bullets because he did not know the material from which the bullets were made, and then he wanted to fire test bullets which were made of materials of a different nature in order to come nearer to the same bullet. Do I understand you right?
That's correct, my lord.
Thank you.
Yebo ngoba-ke wayengazi ukuthi-ke inhlamvu eyenziwe kuphi noma-ke yaluphi-ke uhlobo kwakufanele-ke adubule ama-test bullets ahlukahlukene.
Beyond that, is there anything that he told you about these bullets?
No, my lord.
Ngale kwalokho akukho kunye angitshela kona-ke ngale inhlamvu.
Now, Lieutenant Colonel Mangena told this court, okay, before we get there, and I'm going to request you to remind me about this point. Now, when you analyze these bullets, these test bullets, is there anything very specifically, ballistically, that you found under the microscope which you would love to bring to the attention of this court as to the nature of the bullets and stuff like that? Those which you analyzed?
My lord, it was 4 years ago and I can't recall exactly any specific marks. I just gave an opinion. I made no record of anything I saw.
Iminyaka emine-ke eyadlula-ke ngakwenza-ke lokhu akunama-marks athize-ke engathi-ke ngiyawakhumbula-ke manje futhi akukho engakubhala phansi okwami kwakunginikeza nje ngofo.
So that is how you apply to scientific method of analyzing this bullet. You never wrote anything down, you kept everything in your head, and 4 years down the line you had forgotten what you saw on the 20th or on the 22nd of July 2020. Is that the case?
My lord, when I mean I forget, I cannot recall whether I made the identification on a specific on the land, on a specific spot on the bullet. Not the fact that I couldn't remember anything about the identification.
Akusuke ukuthi-ke akukho nje engikukhumbulayo ukuthi nje angeke ngisho ukuthi yini kahle kahle-ke eyangenza-ke ukuthi kube yiyona-ke engikhomba ngayo noma-ke ngi-identify ngayo noma kwakuyi-mark ethize.
Thank you, ma'am. So you basically come here to tell the court that 4 years ago you did an analysis, you never wrote anything down, and 4 years down the line, you had forgotten what you saw on those bullets.
My Lord,
Is
as
that
I
the
mentioned,
case?
I didn't forget that I made a positive identification. I just cannot recall which exact marks I used to make my identification. Normally, if the verifier will note down whether it's a room or a land or a specific area, as I was only asked for opinion, I did not need to write it down.
Engikushoyo ukuthi mina ngikhohliweke ukuthi yebo khona ke ngakusho noma ke khona isinqumo engafilela kusona ke engikushoyo ukuthi nje angikhumbulike ukuthi i-market thizeni lena ke ekwaba yiyona eyabangela ukuthi ke ngifinyelele kuleso sinqumo engafilela kusona kodwa ke ukhona ke lo yena ke lo wabiza ngokuthi ke u-verifier uyena ke obhala phansi ke ozosho ukuthi kwakuyi-grove noma kwakuyini mina okwami kwakukunikeza nje ngovo kuphela.
Thank you. Now, Mr. Mangena told this court that the reason why he had to fire 8 bullets on top of the 2 that Warrant Officer Rudolph worked on, it is because he could not get the necessary mark. In other words, the transfer of the mark from the tool to the bullet was of a very poor quality. So he had to keep on firing up until such time that he could compare all bullets and take out the one that he, according to himself, he could work on because it had better marks. That is what he told this court. Do you follow?
I follow, sir.
Ukenel Mangena ke watshela lenkantolo ukuthi yena ke izathu sokuthi ke ngaphezulu kwala mabhullet amabili ke awadubula ukuthi ke aze adubule ke awu8 kwakungoba ke ukuthi ke ama mark ayengatholakala kahle ke abuya kusona ke isibham andluliselwa kuyona inhlamvu kwakungakho ke kufanele adubule andlulisele ukuze atholeke ekuyiyona yona.
Now that you can't dispute because you can't remember what you saw on those bullets, not so.
My Lord, as far as I understand, it's not like Colonel Mangena shot 2 tests, then went to the microscope, didn't find enough, went back, fired 2 tests, looked more, didn't find enough. He fired all the tests at the same time. The reason he fired more than 2 was because there is the exhibit bullet is a CMJ, which is a complete metal jacket, and the original tests are FMJ, full metal jacket, and they mark differently.
Lana kulokho ngikuzwayo ke akusukuthi uMangena wayedubula ke abese yahamba ke ayobheka ku microscope aphinda adubule abuyele kodwa ke wadubula konke ngesikhathi ke esisodwa ngoba ke lana sikhuluma ke ngeinhlamvu ezahlukahlukene sikhuluma ngayo iCMJ kanye nayo ke iFMJ.
But then where do you then get where do you then get that information from? That was the one which you've just explained now. Where do you get it from?
Colonel Mangena wrote an affidavit saying that he fired tests marked so and so.
Ukuthola phi ke manje lokho qeda ukusho ke manje uKenel Mangena ke unestatement asenza ke la ashoyo khona ke ukuthi ke wasebenza wadubula.
So you read through Mangena's affidavit?
I did read through it yesterday, my Lord.
Yes.
I was just refreshing myself as to make my 2 and 2 as to how the exhibits were marked and such.
Okusho ukuthi ke usifundile ke noma wasifunda ke statement sakhe Mangena yebo ngisifundile izolo uma ke semfuna nami ke ukukhumbuza futhi ke nokulungiselela ke lesi esami statement kufanele ngisenze.
Because according to my understanding, the explanation was several tests were shot because of the Colonel Mangena did not know the origin of the complete metal jacket bullet, and therefore he fired several manufacturers to get the best, to get the closest to the exact ammunition used.
Ngoba ke engitshelwayo ke noma okushiwoyo kumina ke lana ukuthi ke uKenel Mangena wadubula ke lama test bullets awu8 ke ngoba wayengayitholi ke noma engazi ukuthi ke inhlamvu leyo yayenziwe kuphi ke noma ke i-manufacturer yayo kwakuyiphi ke ngakho adubula lawo.
Now take Mangena's affidavit out. Take it out. I'm not asking you about what is contained in Mangena's affidavit. If I wanted to ask you, if I wanted to know what is contained in Mangena's affidavit, I would have asked him and he has already testified. What I'm telling you is that that is what he told this court. So if you had not had sight of his affidavit, you would not have disputed what he told this court, not so.
I therefore can't comment on that, no.
Akukho ke ngakusho lokho ukuthi uma bengayibonanga affidavit yakhe bengeke ngiphikisane naloko akushilo la enkantolo. Akukho ngakusho lapho.
Thank you. And further on, when he was explaining his results as to how he actually came to the conclusion that indeed the same bullet was fired from the alleged firearm, he told this court that he identified that in one of the bullets there was something peculiar with that bullet. Did you note anything peculiar in one of the bullets?
I don't know which bullet necessarily.
Bullet number 9.
Sorry?
Bullet number 9.
I can't recall, my lord. As I said, I can't recall the exact marks that I saw.
Okunye futhi akushilo-ke ukuthi ke kwakunale nhlamvu njena ke inhlamvu ke number 9 ukuthi kwakunento nje ngayo ngabe uyakhumbula yini wena ke kunenhlamvu okhona nje okodwa nje wabona nanje mangisho ke ukuthi ke angikhumbulile.
Let me tell you what he told this court. He told this court that bullet number 9, although according to him he was able to find some striations here and there, but the nature of the bullet was such that these striations were not evenly transferred throughout the bullet because of the nature of the bullet. It had a ditch, it had an indentation. Do you know what an indentation is?
I do, my lord.
What it is?
It's as if there's a space. It doesn't reach.
It doesn't reach.
Yes, there's a slight dent, so it's not equal in level, if
Yeah.
that is what you say.
Thank you. That is indentation. That is what he told you this court. You can't dispute that. Not so.
I can't dispute that.
Ungaphikisa-ke ngoba yena-ke uma ushilo-ke ukuthi-ke uma le mark-ke isindluliselwa-ke kusona-ke isibhamu kuyona inhlamvu adluliselwanga-ke ngokuthi-ke ilinganeke kwakukhona-ke lapha ngathi khona-ke nendawo ewumgodi noma indawo kungakho ukuthi ingaba level khona-ke kuleyo nhlamvu leyo angeke uphikise uma usho lokho cha angeke uphikise.
I would have thought, ma'am, that as an expert who dealt with these things under microscope, these are all the features that we have been able to identify as an expert, of course. That is what I would have thought and expected from an expert, but nonetheless, let us proceed. Now, you're saying Forensic Science Laboratory, South Africa, limits itself to the usage of pattern matching because it is qualitative and not quantitative. That's a bold statement that you've made before court. Not so.
My lord, I did not say they limit themselves. I said we use pattern matching.
Yes.
Engikushilo mina ukuthi la eSouth Africa ke akuthi nje siphela kona ke kodwa sisebenzisa le nhlobo ke ebizwa ngokuthi ke i-pattern matching.
Thank you. And that you had limited yourself to a usage of pattern matching because of its qualitative nature.
I did not limit myself. I prefer pattern matching as it is prescribed by FD and the South African Police Service as the method we are using.
Thank you.
Mina-ke ngikhethe yona ukuthi ngisebenzise yona-ke nanjengoba kuyiyona-ke esetshenziswayo-ke eSouth Africa.
Now, Mr. Mangena used CMS as a method of comparison. That is what he did. You're probably aware of that fact.
No, my lord, I'm not aware of that fact.
Angikwazi-ke lokho ukuthi uMangena yena wasebenzisa i-CMS.
He used CMS. CMS basically has got to do with striations. Is that not so?
Pattern matching and CFDs both have to do with striations.
Zombili ke i-CMS kanye nayo ke pattern matching zombili ke zisebenza ngawo ke lokho okubizwa ngokuthi ama-striations.
I'm talking CMS, not pattern matching. CMS.
CMS has to do with striations, that's correct, my lord.
Yebo i-CMS yona ke inokwenza nawo ama-striations.
Now, he came to court, man, already having prepared a chart on how he was able to identify those striations and the methodologies that he used to identify those striations. This is just by way of a background. Do you follow?
I follow, my lord.
Oh, thank you. Have you ever attended the CMS course?
I attended a CMS workshop, my lord. I wouldn't refer to it as a course.
Kune workshop ke yayo i-CMS engake ngaya kuyona angeke ngiyibize ukuthi kwakuyi-course.
When was that?
I can't recall the exact year or date.
Angikukhumbule ke unyaka.
It was the same one Mr. Peter said.
Iyona lena uMr Peter se ayeye kuyona.
That was in 2012.
Okay, then it was 2012.
Makubeke u-2012 uke.
That's almost 12 years ago. And after having attended that course, did you ever use CMS as a method of comparison?
My lord, CMS is a quantitative method of describing an observed pattern. My apologies. I did not use CMS exclusively, no.
Mina ke i-CMS ke uhlobo nje olodwa ke lokuthi ke ubheke noma ke utholeke kodwa mina ke i-CMS angaze ngiyisebenzise ekhaya.
But my question is very clear now. After having attended this course, this what did you call it now?
Workshop.
Workshop, yes. After having attended this workshop, did you then thereafter ever use CMS as a method of comparison?
My lord, as I explained, pattern matching and CMS are not mutually exclusive. Even before I attended the course, one would still look, I have a pattern here, I have a pattern there. We don't count the lines, the specific amount of IDs we have.
Nangaphambi kokuthi ke ngiyeke kuyona ke le workshop nalapho ke sasingabhekile noma sibhaleke ukuthi ke imigqa etholakalayo uthola imigqa emingaki ke kodwa ke wawubheka ke lokho sikubiza ngokuthi ke ihamba kanjani noma ke lokho kubizwa ngokuthi phecelezi i-pattern.
What does CMS stand for?
Consecutive matching style.
Iloko okuchazwa noma uyena ke u-CMS lowo uma ke ngama-strial lana ke ama ngokulandelelana ke noma ke consecutive matching strial.
You are saying your trade is based on training and it's also based on experience. So
That's correct.
now when it comes to the calculations of the striations, when one is using the CMS method of comparison, are you in a position to assist the court in that regard?
It is for the criteria for CMS on a three-dimensional image. It is two sets of three and one set of six. Oh, sorry, my lord, you can just correct me. That is correct. And the two-dimensional image, it is two sets of five or one set of 10.
Indlela ke esetshenziswayo ke yokubhala ke la ekuthiwa khona ke kuyabhalwa khona le kuyi-CMS ama-set amabili ke ka-5 yalezo eziyi-5 noma ke iset eyodwa kwawu-10.
I did not hear you well, because at some stage you said, no, sorry. May you please start again?
My lord, I just confirmed that it is a three-dimensional image. It's 2 sets of 3 or 1 set of 6. Two-dimensional, it's 2 sets of 5 or 1 set of 10.
So this one's 2 sets of 3. Enye ke futhi bekude ama-set amabili ku-3 noma ke set eyodwa ke ku-6.
Now, the counting of the striations. How should the striations be counted when one prefers to use the CMS method?
According to my understanding of CMS, my lord, they should be consecutive, the one after the other.
Ngokwami ke noma ngolwazi lwami ke uma ebalwa ke kufanele ukuthi ke ahambe ke ngokulandelelana
Without a break, my lord.
ngaphandle kokunqamuka.
Thank you. In an event that there's a break, you are assisting the court. In an event of there being a break between the striations, in other words, where one finds, say, the first striation on the exhibit bullet, which runs through into the test bullet. Then there's a striation on the exhibit bullet, which is not there on the test bullet. And the third striation is there on the exhibit bullet. It also runs through to the test bullet. How do we then go about with the counting in that regard? Did you get my example?
I get your example, my
Yes.
lord. That is why we don't use CMS, my lord. We're looking at the pattern as a whole. It doesn't mean that if the mark didn't transfer either on the one side or the other side, that it doesn't exist. It's just that marks don't transfer exactly the same on everything.
Ama-mark uma lana esedluliselwa kuyona yonke into awandluliselwa-ke ngohlobo-ke noma ngendlela-ke efanayo ileso sizathu-ke sokuthi singasebenzisi-ke lo hlelo lolu olubizwa ngokuthi-ke i-CMS.
One of the reasons could be, as Mr. Mnisi mentioned, that there is a dent in the bullet, so the surface is not equal, so therefore the mark didn't necessarily transfer from the one to the other.
Okunye-ke kungaba ngale ndlela-ke abesho ngayo-ke kwaba umnisi-ke ukuthi mhlawumbe akukho-ke ukulebel noma-ke ukuthi kuyalingana-ke kunale dente abekhulume ngayo-ke uMr Mnisi.
Well and understood. The counting method. You said you need to count the striations and that there should not be a break. I gave you an example. In respect of the example that I gave you, how do we go about with the counting business?
My lord, if there is a break, then with CMS, as I understand, you start recounting.
Uma kuwukuthi-ke kukhona-ke la ukuthi uma ubala uthole ukuthi kunala kunqamuka khona-ke noma akhambi ngokulandelelana kuyona i-CMS ila ubala uphinde uqala phansi futhi ubala.
Thank you, ma'am. Same relative position. What do you understand with the concept?
My lord, same relative position means that if I find a mark on the base of the bullet, I would expect the mark on the base of the other bullet that I'm examining as well.
Uma-ke kukhulunywa-ke ngendawo eyodwa-ke noma-ke same relative position ukuthi uma-ke imark leyo uyithole khona-ke enzansi kwinhlamvu eyodwa noma ubheka kwenye-ke uzolindela-ke ukuthi uyithole kuleyo ndawo.
When you say base of a bullet, what do you mean?
The bottom end of the bullet, my lord, if we have the nose of the bullet, which is around, if we have a mark, for example, close to the nose, I would expect it to be close to the nose of the other test or exhibit that we are examining. It should be at the same position. You cannot compare a mark that you found on the nose to the mark you found at the base of the bullet, which would then be, if you can call it, the bottom of it.
Mangikhuluma ngayo-ke i-base mhlawumbe khuluma khona-ke ezansi uma kusho ukuthi-ke uma ukuthi mark leyo uyitholeke la bizwa ngokuthi-ke ikhala-ke leli layo inhlamvu ulindele nokuthi uma uyibheka kwenye-ke uyithole kuleyo ndawo kodwa ungayithole endaweni ezahlukene.
Thank you. Now, based on what you've just said about the method of counting, when somebody says, even if there's a break in terms of the consistency of the striations, you continue to count. You don't start from one. Would you say that that student got the test right?
Are you speaking in terms of CMS?
I'm talking in terms of CMS striations, yes.
Yes, my lord. That is how they count it. If there's a break, there's no line, they do not count it. They start again. until they find 3. And therefore, that is why they limit it to 2 sets of 3
Yes.
or 1 set of 6. With pattern matching, it's not the same.
Uma bebona-ke bebala-ke baze babala batholeke ukuthi-ke aqhubekekile yilaba abuyela emuva-ke khona-ke bayokala kodwa-ke kuyona-ke i-pattern matching akwenzeki ngaleyo ndlela.
Maybe I need, I'm sorry, maybe I need to repeat my question. My question is, if a student says, it's just a hypothetical situation, if a student says, in a CMS method of analysis, where, for instance, back to my example, there's a first striation that runs through the same bullet and the test bullet. There's no dispute about it. But the second striation, which is found in the same relative position or area, is only found in the test bullet. I mean, it could be either on the test bullet or on the exhibit bullet. Let's say it is only found on the exhibit bullet. But even under the strongest microscope, that striation is not there on the test bullet. And then you go to the third striation, it is found on both bullets. Then you ask the student, how do you count this striation? Then the student says to you, you continue to count. In other words, you count the first one as 1. Even if there's a breakage, you continue to count the third one as a second striation in order to get it. Would you then say that student got this method of counting right?
No, my lord.
Thank you.
Angeke ngithi-ke uma kuwukuthi umuntu uyabala asathole ukuthi akekho akukho-ke okuqhubekayo noma kunala nqamuka khona abese eyaqhubeka-ke angabuyela emuva ngithi loyo muntu loyo noma loyo mfundi loyo o-right.
So you give that student the wrong because he has failed the test, not so.
That is not how CMS works.
Akusiyona.
Based on my knowledge, my lord.
Ngolwami-ke ulwazi akusiyona indlela i-CMS esebenza ngayo leyo.
No, but let us talk about this student. We're not done with this hypothetical situation. I'm asking you give that student the wrong because he would have failed that answer, not so.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yebo ngizothi-ke loyo mfundi loyo-ke leyo mpendulo leyo akayitholanga kahle.
You're probably wondering who that student is. Ma'am, I won't tell you who that student is. It's for me to argue at the end of the case, not so. Thank you, ma'am. I don't want to spoil it, ma'am. I think I no longer have any questions for you. Thank you very much, particularly for the last answer. Thank you very much. I've got no further questions, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, yes, Mr.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr.
I have no
Norman.
consideration.
Unless?
Yes, I have no consideration to this witness.
Oh, against you. Okay, Ms. Mcholon,
My lord, can I start after break?
what's the time now?
It's 11:05.
11:05, my lord.
Yeah. 11:05.
It's 11:05. 5 past 11.
Okay, come let it up,
Nice.